Hi, my name's Calvin Davison, and I'm going to be doing my placement with the Bolton Music Service, who provide peripatetic teaching in a number of schools in the Bolton area. I'm very excited to get started in this placement. Pedagogy and teaching generally in singing is something that I haven't had much of an opportunity to do, so it's really a very new area for me, and I'm very keen to get stuck in and started. I suppose my expectations are I hope to observe different teachers, get to know their different techniques, their different ways of dealing with different types of voices, be it male or female, different age ranges and so on, and how they adapt to the various needs of the pupils, and I suppose essentially the art of how to be a good teacher, because it's something that I would be very keen to get involved in later on in my career. Well, on my placement, as well as observing lessons, group lessons, choir sessions and so on, I really hope to be able to take an active role perhaps in some of the teaching. I'm not sure what format that'll take yet, or how much I might be allowed to do, but I would hope to be afforded the opportunity to perhaps take a warm-up, teach some younger pupils a new song, things like that. I'm also quite keen to get involved possibly in conducting at some point in my career, as I have a real passion for choral music. So I hope that perhaps I might be afforded the opportunity to do a little bit of that, because the Bolton Music Service obviously incorporating a lot of schools. There are a lot of school choirs as well as community projects, and so there should be a variety of different ways to get involved in that aspect. So I'm really excited to get started on my placement with the Bolton Music Service, and I hope it'll be a fantastic experience. Hi, my name's Calvin Davison, and I have just started my placement with the Bolton Music Service. Really enjoying it so far. I've had the opportunity to observe one-to-one lessons, group lessons, and those from a wide range of ages and abilities, and I've also had the opportunity to observe a school choir practice, which is very interesting as well. So in terms of the individual teaching, it's just been really fascinating to learn how, in a sense, as a teacher you can plan a lesson and you have in your head an idea of what you want to do, what you want to achieve, but things happen in a lesson that mean that you perhaps don't stick to your plan. You have to be able to adapt, think on your feet. If a student, for example, is finding something particularly tricky, as happened in one of the one-to-one sessions I observed, the teacher was able to then adapt and say, okay, well, we'll take a step back here, we'll break it down into smaller chunks and examine this and slow it down, speed it up, build it up and so on, until it then became achievable. With group lessons as well, one thing that I noticed was the skill of the teacher in being able to manage such a large group of people. For example, one of the groups that I observed had 5 young girls in it. They must have been 12 or 13 years old, and obviously very chatty, a wee bit rowdy, and naturally in a lesson setting, it's very important for the teacher to get a balance of sort of being a friend and having fun, so that then the pupil finds the lessons an enjoyable experience. But of course they have to have a serious aspect in order that they can get the work done, and this was something that was very interesting to observe the balance about how the teacher was able to strike that balance with a group of 5 pupils in a half-hour lesson, which isn't really a very long time, to be able to go through all of them, check their progress, assess what their different needs might be. They of course all have different learning speeds, and how that was dealt with in the lesson. That was a very, very interesting thing to observe. And then for the choir session, I enjoyed that particularly because I saw the children that I had seen in the lessons earlier on in the day then come into their choir practice, and it was a completely different environment. It was their actual lunchtime, so they were giving up their free time to come in and do this, and it was very, very evident that they enjoyed it. And of course choir practice for them was very, very useful to learn oral skills and different things like that. The tutor was teaching the children to learn music by rote, so they had no music in front of them, and again that's a very good musical skill, perception and so on as well, and being able to work as a team and to listen to the different members of the choir, and that was something that the teacher promoted very, very well, and was able to ensure that all of the pupils felt included in that experience, and that they felt that they were coming together and that they had achieved something by singing together, and they very much enjoyed that, and that was a really wonderful experience to watch, the enthusiasm of those young people, and how they were so hungry to learn and so keen to impress the tutor, and by the end of it, the lesson, when they had achieved a really high standard, you could tell that they were very proud of themselves, and that was just fantastic to be able to watch as well. So that's been my experience so far in my placement. I hope to be able to get into a number of different schools, and work with even greater range of pupils.
Hi, my name is Calvin Davison, and I am now roughly at the midway point in my placement with the Bolton Music Service. I can really say that I've enjoyed every minute of this so far. I feel like I've really learnt a lot, even already. I've had the opportunity to be in both primary school and secondary school settings. So in the secondary schools, I have seen both individual lessons on a one-to-one, and group lessons, as well as a choir session that I was able to sit in on. So in terms of the lessons, I was able to observe the methods and styles of different teachers and how they adapted their methods to various levels of ability in the students' different age groups, vocal capabilities, and just playing to their strengths and trying to strengthen their weaknesses essentially as well. So I was asked to observe and give my own feedback, and later on I was even able to conduct a warm-up for several of the older students, which I enjoyed because I suppose before I had started the placement I had felt a little bit apprehensive about doing that, about whether or not I would be capable of doing that sort of thing, and I think that I did well, and it made me feel more confident. It really did increase my confidence. I absolutely feel like I could do that again, and that is so exciting for me because teaching is really something that I'm very interested in and I've always been very keen to get involved in, so I really feel like that's really a step in the right direction for me. I was even afforded the opportunity to teach some grade 8 students their vocais, which are Italian exercises that every student who does grades with the Trinity College Board. In terms of the primary schools, I was able to observe group lessons to whole classes, which was very interesting because it showed me how well the teacher was able to cope with such a large group of people and being able to keep them all in check and ensure that they all had an enjoyable learning experience. And I was involved in that, in helping the teacher to teach the kids a new song, which we did in a round, and I led one half of the class and the tutor led the other half, and that was a really fantastic experience because the students were really listening intently to me, and I feel like I had their undivided attention, and I feel like they really got a lot from that. So that has been my experience on my placement so far, and I'm just so excited to get back and to do some more. Hi, my name is Calvin Davison, and I'm just coming to the end of my placement with the Bolton Music Service. I've thoroughly enjoyed this experience, and I've really met some truly inspiring teachers and young people. I had the privilege of working with both secondary and primary school children in the placement, and to be honest, I really thought that the secondary school lessons would be the most interesting and the most relevant for me, but in actual fact it was the primary school lessons that ended up being the best. The enthusiasm and energy of those children was just so infectious. I couldn't help but be inspired by them. They were so hungry to learn, and it has really inspired me to get involved in teaching in the future. One experience that really sticks out for me from the placement wasn't a particularly significant event. It was just something that struck a chord with me, really. I was observing a lesson of a grade 4 student in a secondary school, and the tutor who I was working with had asked me to give feedback to that particular student for the sing through of a piece that she just sang in the lesson. As I was giving my feedback, that student was listening so intently, and I could just see that she was soaking up every single word. It struck me in that moment just how important the role of a music teacher is, and just how much responsibility comes with the job. Very young students especially are vulnerable in the sense that they tend to take the advice that a teacher gives them very seriously, no matter what that advice is. How a teacher goes about teaching a pupil will essentially shape that pupil's development, be it for better or for worse. It's a huge responsibility and ultimately a privilege, and I got a little bit of a sense of that on my placement. In terms of my professional development, I've been genuinely moved to do more teaching. I was absolutely inspired by the tutors that I was working with in the Bolton Music Service. I hope to keep involved in that placement over the coming weeks and until the end of the summer term, and I look forward to hopefully being able to do more work with them in the future. So I had a fantastic time in my placement, and I'm disappointed that it's all over.